Hey guys, it's Robin and welcome to the Science of Self-Care. Today we're going to be talking about raw versus cooked foods. There have in recent years been health hypes around raw foodism, which is the lifestyle where you only eat raw foods, and this has been touted as very healthy. However, today I'm going to be talking about why most of us should be including cooked foods in our diet as well. So cooking actually changes the bioavailability of the nutrients in our food. It's well known that beta-carotene, for example, is more accessible to our body in cooked carrots than in raw carrots, and the same is true for lycopene in tomatoes. So eating cooked carrots and cooked tomatoes will offer more of these forms of provitamin A compounds that will be used as building blocks to make vitamin A in our bodies. So cooking can definitely, in a sense, make our food more nutrient dense. In addition to making food more nutrient dense, cooking also makes our foods more calorically dense, and this may sound like a bad thing. However, it's actually a very important point and is considered one of the reasons why humans have become cognitively so advanced as compared to other primates. This is actually the foundation of Richard Wrangham's book Catching Fire: How Cooking Made Us Human. He proposes that learning to use fire to biochemically alter our foods actually played a huge role in how we became so highly intelligent as Homo sapiens. He discusses how the point at which our early ancestors started to use fire coincides with the points at which their brain size greatly increased and their teeth also became a lot smaller. And the thinking here is that cooking really changed the way that we consume calories. Chimpanzees are our closest living primate relatives, and they spend 6 to 8 hours a day eating, and they eat raw foods. They eat raw fruits and vegetables and insects, and in order to sustain their bodies and their brains, they have to spend the majority of their waking hours eating. Whereas humans, we have bigger brains in relation to our body size, yet we can get by on a few meals a day, and we don't need to spend the majority of our waking time eating to sustain our bodies and our brains. Our brain is an extremely calorically expensive organ. It requires so much energy to keep running, to keep processing our thoughts and regulating all the systems in our body and making memories. So the fact that we can eat so little in a sense and still have such highly active, advanced cognitive processes, that's quite remarkable, and cooking is thought to be the reason that all of this is possible. So cooking is not only really important culturally and socially for humans, but also physiologically, because it supports our high energy demands. And there have been studies that have looked at humans following raw food diets, and very high raw food diets are more often associated with underweight BMIs and disruptions of female reproductive cycles. So it's definitely not a way in which our bodies are built to eat. That said, raw foods should still be a part of our diet. Raw foods just offer us different things than cooked foods do. So raw vegetables offer us much heartier, intact fibers that are difficult for our bodies to digest, but are actually really good at feeding our microbiome in our intestines. So many of the things that are indigestible to the human digestive system will make it all the way to the large intestine, where we have our largest bacterial ecosystem living inside of us, and a well-fed microbiome is going to benefit our bodies in the long run. So our food is not just about feeding us, it's also about feeding our microbiome. Raw foods also offer certain enzymes that would otherwise be killed during the cooking process. For example, enzymes in broccoli sprouts and cruciferous vegetables have been associated to decrease risks of neurodegenerative diseases and cardiovascular diseases. So specific enzymes in raw foods can be very beneficial to our health, and they would be destroyed in the cooking process. A last point I want to make is that different cooking methods can actually influence vitamin content of food differently. So water-based cooking methods like boiling have been shown to reduce the vitamin C content of vegetables, whereas sautéing is thought to increase the availability of fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin K. I don't necessarily want to get into all the details of which cooking method methods influence which vitamins in specific ways. The point here being different cooking methods will biochemically alter foods differently, and the best thing we can do is not only vary the types of foods we're eating, but also vary the ways in which we're preparing those foods. So you may eat spinach every single day, but if one day you're eating it as part of a raw spinach salad, a second day you're sauteing it with garlic, and on a third day you're boiling it and making a delicious creamy spinach soup. These are three very different ways to consume the same vegetable that will offer you different benefits. So it's a great idea for each of us to consider varying the ways in which we prepare our foods. And a fun challenge that I'm going to take on this week is to take some of my favorite foods and prepare them in different ways than I normally do. This is also fun to do with fruits. For example, cooking peaches, roasting peaches, eating peaches raw. It's good for our bodies and our minds to experiment in the kitchen and try different cooking methods. So as boring as it is, diversity and balance are keys to a healthy diet. Certainly eating a diet of only raw foods is not going to be the healthiest choice if you're looking at the science and biochemistry behind cooking and eating. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye guys.